Hey guys,
I'm Jerry.
I'm Sierra.
We're ladies.
And we tangent. Guess what I bought?
What?
I can't stop
A
buying
vibrator?
things. No.
Oh.
I wish. There was somebody who talked about buying a vibrator at Mater's.
That was Rachel.
That was Rachel?
You didn't. Wait.
On our Fangents page.
Oh. Well,
of it.
I know that Rachel talked about on For Better and Worse podcast that there was like a. Oh, fuck. We said we weren't going to say this word. A clit sucking.
Oh, are we on?
Vibrator. I mean, I guess I don't have to include this. We'll decide later.
Okay.
But it made her squirt.
Well, anyways, I looked at it made me want to buy one. I've never used one.
Have you ever squirted?
Yes.
Same.
Sweet.
Yeah. I think I remember
I was shocked because I didn't know what it was. I was like 18 and I'm like, excuse me.
Right?
We definitely can't put this in the podcast because
Why not?
My
You
dad
have
listens.
age. Does he?
Well, sometimes.
She's a squirter. Don't said your name.
Don't you dare.
Anyway, so the first time I squirted. Don't look at me like that. It was your fault.
Well, that's impressive.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Good job.
He really
Good on you.
He's a drummer. He's got fast hands. So. Oh, was yours with hands?
Yes. Sure was.
Okay. Cool.
No, not with that current one.
I thought you meant with your hands, not with these.
Not with my current hands.
I had different hands that time.
You know, your skin sheds every 7 years or some shit.
Yeah, we've said that.
Oh, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like, you haven't touched my body or whatever. Or something. How's the cocoa?
Ow!
I know, she bit the fuck out of me.
She's got freaking puppy teeth. Shane, can you get me a toy? Not the kind we've been talking about.
Let's suck her 5,000.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Yeah.
what was I talking about? I buy things because I can't stop buying shit off Facebook. Facebook ads when
Targeting you?
Yeah, when I'm scrolling at 3 a.m. and I'm like, I'm sad. What could make me happy? Spending my money.
Little Sari T.
Yep, and I do it.
Yeah.
And then I forget that I bought myself flare jeans like freaking forever ago that were really tight flare jeans.
Yeah.
And I think it was a scam because it was like 3 weeks ago.
You bought flare jeans?
I
What is
did.
it, 2009?
Yeah, I like it.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't like them.
Okay. I'm more of a straight leg gal.
But what are these?
They're more like straight leg.
Oh, I thought they were flares.
No. They're
No,
like
no.
wide. They're like straight leg.
But
So they're
wide.
not skinny.
So Corey's always like, those are really big pants. And I'm like, yeah.
I like them because they give me so much room.
Yeah,
They're
I
not
agree.
like suction cup. When I take them off of my body,
It's easy.
you don't see the
The
seam.
lines. Yeah.
of where the jeans were.
Those always make me kind of feel sad.
Yeah, samesies.
So.
What's up, everyone? Hello. I am laughing in my head because I'm hearing your sister say it.
Yeah.
Sierra's sister Taylor watched my kids the other day, and when we were getting ready to leave, she was like, Are you gonna show me around the studio? And I was like, you mean you want to go in my basement? Sure. And so we came down and she sat on the chair and she put her face to the mic and she was like, what's up, everyone? And then I gave her a candle.
Yeah.
So I got to order more from
We are.
Bloom. So
We are going to order some more.
I think there was a quiz on there that I could figure out like what scent was going to like be
I
my
already
vibe.
know what scent is my vibe. And it's
Do you? Oh, she's going to
fucking-
knock your wine down.
You silly Sally.
You're being silly.
You're being a silly girl. It's fucking praline pecan.
I know, that one was good.
Mm.
She was like, you can't give this to me. And I was like, yes, I can. It smells amazing. You like it.
Yeah.
I'll
My
get
kids just put their fingers in it.
I was like, I'll get another one. And she was like, I can't take this. And I was like, it's literally
Oh
Are
my
you guys
God,
for real?
That was the cutest part.
It's like it's literally a candle that my son has stuck his fingers in. Like, please take it. It's from your favorite podcast set.
Yeah. Your favorite podcast, which is like my podcast.
Yeah.
I think that's so funny.
Mhm.
She's like, I'll call her and I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh my God, I just got done watching you guys.
She was like, I'm your number one fan. I'm like,
Yes.
you're my cousin.
Yeah.
We've taken
Very
baths together as
Yep.
children.
Oh, I did it last week. I did one time.
Wash my back steps, sis.
I did one time wax her Hootie.
You did?
We did it together.
I said I want you to wax mine.
She freaked out after I put the wax on. This was before I went to esthetician school, so I had no idea what I was doing. Don't wax yourself at home. Ever. I put it on way too thick. She started crying because I couldn't rip it off. It was just pulling the hairs. So then she got in and had to take like a really hot shower to try to get it out, but she couldn't. She was just like trying to scrape it off.
Could you like use a hair dryer?
We didn't think
like melt it.
We didn't think of that.
Like we used to do with crayons on canvas, like we were artistes.
You mean like last year?
Yeah.
No, we didn't think about that. That would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
But we were really panicked because both of our vaginas hurt really bad.
Did you do them
I did
simultaneously?
Yep, I had my pants off too.
Okay. Now it's a party.
And it was.
I love that. Okay.
So, anyways.
So I had therapy the other day.
How was that?
Well, so it's a video like chat essentially. And so it starts ringing, and then when she connects, it goes doom, 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 and then like her video pops up. And she like does a double take to me because this is what I look like. And if you are an audio listener, Jerry's got curly hair and bangs happening right now, okay? So, and she talks in the third person.
Who is she?
She is me. So anyway, Barbara was like, okay, let's just get the formalities out of the way and then we'll get started. So she did the formalities and then she goes, just an observation. Your hair is different. You have a different color nail polish on every single one of your fingers. And your nose looks red. And I was like, well, Barbara, yeah, you are correct. That would be a correct observation. And she was like, do you want to tell me about that? I go, well, I'm curious as to what that observation tells you.
Yeah.
And she was like,
because I thought I was just wacky and fun.
Yeah, just a bit quirky, Barbara.
Yeah.
She was like, I think something's going on.
Do you
want to unpack some stuff?
Are you taking it out on your body?
Yeah, it turns out, yes. Yeah. Basically, if you listened last week, I was talking about my like continual panic attack. It continued into the next day. Ooh. We recorded on Friday. I hadn't been able to breathe all day that day. I woke up on Saturday, still couldn't breathe. I was struggling so bad that I had chest pains, and Sierra was like, maybe you have like a post-COVID situation, but it wasn't. It was just my anxiety.
Oh, good.
But
I say good, but also bad, but also good.
Well, I was really trying to not be cliche. I was trying to do all of like so many different like original things to express that I was having a panic attack, like adopt a dog, spend entirely too much money on gel nail polish.
Yep.
And none of it was working.
Yeah.
And so I got bangs. I gave myself bangs. And I did it last week. And if you thought that was the last time I put scissors to my hair, you'd be wrong.
You did it more?
I did it today. Why? I've done it several times since then. Why?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can fix it. If I just keep going.
Your face, why? Because I can.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Sierra and I got together at a coffee shop yesterday, and I had my glasses on that have like the blue light blockers in them.
I need to get some of those. I get headaches every fucking day.
And I told her, I was like, I have... This look is one of two things. It's either I'm an art student who only drinks black coffee, or I have an underground bunker in my backyard, which I house a neighborhood child in.
And that's all.
Right. Yeah.
Neither one of those are happening. Or they're her kids.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, after I cut my hair again, you know what? I blame Brad Mondo because I started watching.
So I don't watch any of his shit.
I started binge watching his videos and I fucked my hair up because I was like, I know what I'm doing. Now, that's not his fault because he did have a tutorial. I just... Like, he gave me so much confidence that I felt like I didn't need it. And it turns out that I did. I definitely did. So then
Or just a hairstylist in general.
Well, yeah. And my best friend literally owns a salon, but I was like, she's going to be fine with me doing this.
Yeah.
And she was like, mullets are in. You're fine. So anyway, long story short, I bought so much of his product because...
Just recently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly... Great marketing. Teach people to cut their own hair and then sell them products that'll fix it.
I heard you fucked this up. I knew.
Yeah.
Little birdie told me.
Birdie.
Get
Who's eating the friggin' table. But honestly, I have naturally curly hair. Oh my God,
that scared the ass out of me.
This is not going to work with these effing dogs. Both of them. Because she just gets in his business and Mosby's like, leave my shit alone. Anyway, so I have naturally curly hair. And if you didn't know, now you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't had my hair curly in a very long time because I haven't liked the way that it looked. And I didn't think it would lay right, especially since I got a middle part. And I was like, it's fine now.
Yeah.
Because we don't have another choice.
I like it. I've always loved your natural curly hair.
Thanks.
I also have naturally curly hair, but it like
you
really
do?
Yes. Oh. But it's more like naturally wavy.
Yeah.
So like to get it to spiral curl, I can. But it's like so temperamental.
Tell you, if you get Brad Mondo's shit, I'm the wave tech that I've got in my hair. This is not sponsored, but like sponsored a little bit.
Yeah, well, I can't now because I have extensions. So like half of my hair will be curly, and half will be because
I don't know. He used wave tech on a mannequin when I cut my hair, watching his wolf cut tutorial today when I cut my hair again. So
well, I mean maybe
because
I've always wanted, like, I've had someone do my, like, the curly girl method on my hair at the salon and then use all, like, her curly products.
Oh, yeah.
And my hair was, like, spiral curls. And I'm like, but then I try to do it at home and I fuck it up because I'm just not used to, like, I use way too much shampoo, first of all. And then, like, I don't condition it enough because I feel like it makes my hair greasy, but that's, like, what you need to do for your curls. And then, like, I don't know, moisture is, like, and I'm like, I can't be bothered with it. I'm gonna
can't even deal with that.
Fry it, and then this part will be fucking. You know how you can only straighten the front, and then later on you look at pictures, and you got like a friggin' spiral curl in the back, and it looks like. I hate that shit.
Yeah, used to be a panic thing of mine. So anyway, I'm just leaning into whatever the hell is happening right now. We're acting like this was a choice. Now, at the end of our session, Barbara was like, how are you feeling? Are you feeling like we worked through some stuff? And I was like, well, I picked all of my nail polish off because you made it a point to tell me that was a sign that I was anxious. And so what's that say? And she was like, well... I don't know anymore. At least you're not picking your face. She's like, I hope that we get to a point where you don't pick anything at all. And I'm like, okay, Barbara.
Good luck.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
You obviously don't know me that well.
Yeah. It's been, a month since I told you guys I like peeled the skin off of my nose and it's still not healed. It's just like moved to a different part of my nose because I keep ripping healthy skin off.
Oh, God.
So, anyway.
Well, I'm sorry that that's happening to you.
That's okay.
Nothing is happening for me.
Well, that's good.
I mean, no, it's not.
No news is good news?
No news is boring.
Oh, it's fine.
I'm home alone a lot. I watched a video today that was really kind of sad.
Okay.
But it made me feel like validated. My friend Lindsay sent it to me. And it was, I can't remember the TikTok user's name, but basically she had written down like a bunch of things that she was just like intrusive thoughts that she was thinking. So she was exactly 4 months postpartum, and like everything she was saying, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of like, the same old thing. I'm so tired. Does anyone even want to see me? They just keep calling about the baby.
Yep.
So many people want to visit her and I don't have time. My house is a wreck and I feel like I should have it together by now. And it's like, at the newborn stage, you feel like, well, it's okay that my life's a wreck. I have a newborn. Everybody understands I have a newborn, and so they just get it. And then, like, at about 3-4 months, it's like, I should have this down by now.
Yep.
So that's when you start, I started really beating myself up, like, recently. And she went
that's normal, because you see all of these people on, like, magazines and stuff, or, like, media pushes, like, bounce back in 6 weeks.
Yes.
6 weeks?
Get the fuck. I
couldn't even drive.
Didn't even bounce back in 6 weeks.
Right? I couldn't even drive for the first 6 weeks.
No. Yeah.
Excuse me? My stitches haven't like disintegrated.
Exactly. Literally.
I could have pulled one out just the other day.
It was terrible.
Right?
And then, like, you're supposed to be like, okay, well, get back in the gym. And like, with what time? I still don't fucking sleep. My kid is attached to my body still 24/7. She's so clingy and I love her, but if it's not one thing, it's the other. So like, she went through a sleep regression. Then she was I think she's teething. At 4 months, I'm like, give me a break.
Yeah.
So I think she's getting teeth. And then she had like a belly thing going on where I think it's because I don't know what's going on. Oh,
Yeah.
and then there's a big formula freaking recall.
I know, we just got a call from Giant Eagle.
Yeah, all of my fucking formula that I have. So I breastfeed, but we supplement sometimes because I just can't keep up with how much she wants recently. And I literally was like, oh, there's been a shortage, so I want to make sure, because when we had that big snowstorm, I ran out and I was freaking out. Luckily, I had a freezer supply from when I come here and pump and stuff, but like that goes very quickly because she eats a shit ton. So I was like, I need to stock up so that doesn't happen again. I bought like 3 and they all fucking are on the recall list.
No. God damn.
I know. So anyways, it's just been like tough at this point because I feel like things should be like getting into a flow and it's like not.
No.
So
I think it takes like 5 years.
Yeah.
For it to get into a flow.
Honestly, I just want her to sleep. For the love of God, like get on
Been there.
I know.
Remember when I was like, I don't want to like waste time or like
wish it away.
Yeah, but
I need my kids to sleep at the same time. Yeah.
We just put Forrest in his big boy bed. This is night number 2 in his big boy bed.
How's he doing?
So good. He took a nap. No problem.
Yeah.
It was like he didn't even make a transition. He just like immediately went to bed last night. I read him a book and then that was it. And then at nap time, same thing. And then tonight he did get a little frustrated. Like he was kind of crying, but I just laid with him a little bit and then he was fine.
Wow.
He was fine. So yeah.
I think once I get to like 6 months, I'll be feeling better. Plus it's like, I want to go out. I want to do stuff. I want to get out of my house. The weather is sucky in Ohio right now. I don't know if you guys know, but it's either like flooding, rain, or freezing.
Yep.
And
or both, which is then dangerous
in the last 24 hours for us. So
sorry. Just checked the mother fathering camera and it stopped recording after 9 minutes. So
we don't
apologies.
Know why.
Apologies.
Yeah. So effing sorry.
Yeah. Well, you must have saw that for the last I don't know how long. Anyway, are we ready to jump in?
Let's do it because we have a lot.
Yeah. It is February. It's Black History Month, and we thought it would be really important to utilize one of the weeks of our one of the weeks of February to highlight Black stories,
especially one that doesn't get told enough.
Right. And I know that like the story that we chose just had a movie made about it, but it was you mentioned that and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I mentioned it to my mom. She didn't know about it. So like I know it was a movie that came out in 2016 and there was a book also about it. But up until 2016, like people did not know this story.
Yeah.
So, and I think still people didn't know. I think it won awards, but like realistically, who watches movies anymore?
Yeah.
I really don't, because I just don't think to go to the movie theater and then by the time it comes out,
unless it's like COVID has made it really difficult for like the movie industry in general, I feel like. So unless you're like a big Marvel movie, like or something through Disney, like I don't think
people are just like going out to see.
Yeah.
So if you have seen the movie, I'm just gonna dive in a little deeper on things like because I watched it as well. But there are things that I didn't see. And then if you didn't see the movie, this is going to be all brand new to you. And I hope you enjoy it. So
I also wanted to mention that a friend of mine has opened a shop and I wanted to give her a shout out because I also think it's important to support Black entrepreneurs and creators. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. But I wanted to highlight her. And her shop, I just bought some things from there, and it just reminded me that I didn't put them on, and I'm annoyed. But it's called Ivy Soul, so it's Shop Ivy Soul, and I purchased like a water bottle from there.
Oh,
There's
that's
like
the water bottle. Yes. I'm getting stuff too.
Yeah, it's got like you can choose like what crystals you want in it, and so it's like crystal infused. But then there's also like bracelets. I got 3 bracelets, a ring. I got the water bottle, but there's like so many different things for you guys to choose for. Or you guys, for anyone
Yeah.
to choose from, but I am just
and if
like
you
really
it, spread the word.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really proud of her because I used to work with her at a retail job, and I'm so excited for this new venture for her. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to give her a shout out on here.
Yeah, and everything that she makes is amazing.
Yes.
I looked at it and I was like, I'm going to wait till I get money because I'm going to buy some
Spend
things.
it.
Yes.
Yep.
So the story we're going to be telling you about is the book is called Hidden Figures and the movie's called Hidden Figures, and it is the story of 3 Black women, mathematicians, I guess, and engineers, and they were basically like the entire background of the NASA and getting space, the first man to orbit around.
Yep.
And getting the man on the moon and things. That none of that would be possible without these women. And it's women that I had never heard about until Noah came home and he had a children's book. I think he got it like at a book fair.
Okay.
I loved that that's what he picked out.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, love it. But so I'm reading this and I'm like, this is a cute story. And then I was like, is this fucking real? And it was.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about them.
Well, I'm excited. When Sierra mentioned it, I was like, I love the fact that this is a story about Black women that doesn't portray them as like a servant to someone.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
well, that's what, because I was thinking like Black women in history. Who do I know about?
Right.
Harriet Tubman.
Yep.
Rosa Parks.
Yep.
And then like, who else do we learn about? Really?
Like Oprah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, it just is crazy to me that we skip and it's like slaves or people who did things for the civil rights movement, which was huge.
Right.
But also,
and it's important.
I
But
want to see Black women and Black people just doing like amazing, normal, everyday things. It shouldn't have to be like a story of like breaking down barriers that should have never been there in the first place.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Yes. I mean, seeing women in like math and science occupations, like I would say is probably breaking a barrier, but I think that's only because no one talks about those stories.
Yes.
So like if there was more acknowledgement of the representation, it wouldn't feel like such a huge
like, oh
hurdle.
wow, how shocking.
Right.
Because it's like, why is that shocking?
Right. If you would have just talked about us the entire time, then like with Kamala Harris, like, excuse me, Birdie. With Kamala Harris, like people are going to grow up and see a female as a vice president and know like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
And so I've never heard of someone working for NASA who was a Black woman.
No.
Like,
especially
and maybe
in
that's
the 1950s and 1960s.
Right. And maybe that's my own ignorance. And like, it's not like I went out and was searching like information about NASA, but anything I know about NASA has been like
white men.
Yep. The occasional white woman, but I don't even know.
We hear a lot about the astronauts that go up into space as if they are the ones that do it. And it's like they would never be put up there without these women and other men. But like,
without these people
that are putting in all this work on the back end, especially in a time where like technology and computer science and things like that was not
as
a
advanced.
thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a thing.
Yep.
Like these women are called computers because they were literally doing the job that computers do today. All handwritten math equations.
Pass.
Right?
Hard pass.
So I'm going to list my sources, but we'll probably also put them in the
description.
There you go. So I got some from an article written by Amanda Zettler on astrobites.org. She's an undergraduate student at the University of Connecticut. Got a lot of stuff from Wikipedia, obviously. Please go donate to them if you can. I donate every month.
I was watching something and they were explaining the definition of something. I was clearly paying attention. And they were saying that the definition of that Wikipedia had was actually more accurate than some of the other
they like
scholarly journals even.
Yes, they put in like real work now to make that like a legit website because back when we were in school they were like you can't use Wikipedia as a source.
Got shit talked.
Yeah, and now you like it's amazing the things that I've learned just using that website.
Yep.
So and then an article on smithsonianmag.com.
Ooh.
So this bit is straight from the article by Amanda Zettler. says the 2016 movie and book Hidden Figures brought to light the many contributions of Black women to astrophysics. The book Hidden Figures highlights the experiences of 3 specific Black women, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, and the movie brought their stories to an even larger audience. These women led extraordinary lives that were often overshadowed by the accomplishments of their white male colleagues.
Shocker.
Right. This representation of Black women in astrophysics has been immeasurably important in showing young women and people of color that they can overcome obstacles and succeed in astrophysics. As the movie review from The New Yorker states, quote, "The basic virtue of Hidden Figures, and it's a formidable one, is to proclaim with a clarion vibrancy that, were it not for the devoted, unique, and indispensable efforts of 3 Black women scientists, the United States might not have successfully sent people into space or to the moon and back."
You know what's wild is if that's a correct statement, which I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Why was that never in a history book?
So that's the thing that bothers me so much is when we talk about Black history in school, it's like Harriet Tubman,
Yep.
Rosa Parks,
Martin Luther King,
the guy
maybe,
that did the peanut butter. For real.
Frederick Douglass.
Yeah. Then there was a guy that was actually like the inventor of the telephone.
Frederick Douglass did not make peanut butter. Oh my
No,
God.
no,
That's George Washington Carver.
I thought you were saying Frederick Douglass as like another
We
person.
did talk about him. Yeah.
But like, you know, it was like, but you never hear like these stories. And it's
Right.
like, why?
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
And like, even if it's not during Black History Month, like we learned about the space race.
yeah.
The race space.
The race spaces.
No, we learned about the space race and like the Cold
Russia
War and all
things
of
like
that stuff.
Oh, yeah. And they were monumental in that.
Yes.
So
why
why
was
do
that
we
not
not-
mentioned?
I know.
One of the things I was thinking about today was like, when my children are in school,
Mm-hmm.
I hope, or like adults, I
Yeah.
hope that they, one, are taught history accurately
Sure.
and like completely,
Uh-huh.
and equally. Like I
Yeah.
hope that there's equal representation of all stories, and I hope that they are disgusted by the way it was done
Yep.
in our time.
Yep.
And I hope that they're proud of the work or like the side, quote unquote, that we stood on.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree.
So I hope that like people start fucking making these changes.
And I think the other thing, yeah, I completely agree. But I think the other thing that is important that I hope that people start acknowledging when they tell these stories is like, yes, what they were doing was amazing because they were super fucking smart and like
Mhm.
sent a man to space, to the moon.
Yep.
That's amazing as it is. But then when we talk about things like privilege and
Mhm.
like economic privilege and like generational wealth and things like that. That's what I was looking for. When we talk about things like that, like I know as white people, it feels like, I don't know. I get a lot of comments. We've gotten them. I've seen them online that are
Mhm.
like almost get defensive about that. But what you have to understand is this was not that long ago. And for us, not only was it not a fair race, but it wasn't even a fair start in the
Yep.
race. Like
Yep.
their starting line was so far back to even get to be able to get to NASA. The way that they had to go through schooling
Yeah.
was, and which we'll talk about. But like that is something that I wish was acknowledged more because it's like, yeah, they had a really hard time because, you know, they were oppressed and things like that. But it's like, yeah, but you don't talk about the fact that they had completely separate bathrooms in different buildings that they had to go to in the middle of the day.
Ew.
So they had to hold themselves basically or run
Yeah.
like half a mile down the way to go to the bathroom
They're
in the
probably
middle of the
so
day.
good at the bicycle thing.
Right. For sure.
Well, I wanted to bring up too
Or
that
like,
like
schooling.
we learned about Ruby Bridges, who was
Yeah.
like the first Black child to go into an integrated elementary
Yep.
school, but she was in a class alone
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
And then there were certain teachers who wouldn't even teach her. So like
Ugh.
even the way that like
We're
that
told, where
yes,
it's like, yay. And then it was better.
yep,
and
it
it's
was
like-
packaged in such a way that was like,
Look at
look
these
at
good
how
things.
integration, the civil rights movement happened. There were literal adults spitting at a third, fourth grader.
Yeah,
like,
she was like an elementary school
yes.
child. and they're spitting on her and then still being cruel
Adults
to
were
her.
refusing to teach her.
Yep.
She had classes alone. She had recess alone. She had lunch alone. Can you imagine? Like, is that really integration? So, like, it's frustrating.
I just wish that part of it was told as well, because I think it's easy then for people to be like, we're good.
Yeah.
It was so long ago and we fixed it. And it's like, but did
No.
we? Did they?
No.
Did they fix it?
Or did someone tell you a story to make you think it was better so that they could continue with the systems that would oppress the people that you would then think are overreacting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now it's like, whoa. Why
It's
are
like-
you acting like that towards
It's
me?
like when a kid is like, can I have a snack? And you're like, sure. And you give them like one cracker.
Mhm.
And you're like, but you had a snack. And it's like, but I'm still fucking hungry.
Yeah, like that wasn't a good snack.
Yeah. Or
But I fed you.
Yeah.
Aren't you grateful?
Yep.
That I fed you?
I think you're over exaggerating.
And it's
I
like-
saw her give you food.
Yeah, and it's like, I wouldn't have needed fed if you hadn't starved me for 3 days.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have begged for that cracker. So
Mhm.
yeah, thank you for feeding me so I don't die.
Yeah.
But also, maybe you could have done it a little sooner and maybe a little more. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Uh-huh. And more consistent.
Yeah.
And don't gaslight me into thinking
Into
that I
thinking
should
I
have
have
been
to thank you for this.
yes.
For doing the bare fucking minimum.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just had to get that out of the way because it enrages me. Okay, so we'll start with Katherine Johnson, who in this movie is the main like character kind of. Katherine Johnson was born as Creola Catherine Coleman on August 26, 1918 in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. She was the youngest of 4 children, and she showed very strong mathematical abilities from a super early age. Like in the movie, they show her like picking out trapezoids and things like in patterns that she was sitting and just like,
What the fuck is a trapezoid?
good question. I don't fucking know. She's like saying it out loud. I'm like, sure, that's what that shape is.
Shane, what's a trapezoid?
I'm an adult. So it's one of those guys.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So like they show in the movie that her school is like, she's incredible. She needs to be going further.
Yeah.
But in 1918, where she lived, they didn't offer public schooling for African American children because at this point there were segregated schools.
Yep.
And the schooling for Black children didn't go past 8th grade. So again, what I'm saying, the starting line is pushed so far back. They're already, the education isn't what they would get, period. But then it's not as good. Like,
right.
They're not getting the resources. They're
getting like the broken textbooks, if any textbooks. They're not getting any funding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then they only go to 8th grade. So
whatever buildings that they're in are probably not as well equipped.
Oh, for sure.
As white
for learning
schools.
conditions.
Yep.
Mhm.
Which makes it more difficult.
Yeah. So, sorry, I lost my spot.
You're okay.
Oh, because I'm down here. Okay, so because of that, the Colemans arranged for their children to attend high school at an institute in West Virginia, which was on the campus of West Virginia State College. So they enrolled their children, and they would spend time in that place during the school year and then go back to their hometown in the summer just so their kids could go to school. So because of this, she goes to this campus school. It's like a high school. She enrolls in high school at 10 years old.
Holy shit.
Yep. That's how fucking smart she was. She graduates high school at 14.
I thought I was something because I graduated at 17.
Right. Me too. But that was just because I went to school.
And I was literally 18 the next month. So it wasn't even like it was that special.
It's like, look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's freaking 14. So then she goes to West Virginia State, which was a historically all-Black college.
Uh-huh.
She takes every math course that's available at the college. And eventually she graduates. This is a word that I don't know, but you know college stuff, but it's summa cum laude?
Summa cum laude.
Summa cum laude.
So did I.
Did you?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means...
For the people who don't know.
No, I think I was...
for a friend.
I think I was cum laude.
Okay.
Summa cum laude feels like it was bigger than me.
Yeah. I feel like she's...
Yeah, it just means that you graduated with some kind of honors. Like you did a good job.
Good job.
Yeah, you had a certain ranking in your class.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So she graduates in 1937, and she's got degrees in both mathematics and French. And she graduates from college at 18. Yeah.
Je m'appelle impressed.
Hello, my name is Impressed. Is that what Je m'appelle is?
Je m'appelle is my name is.
Yeah.
My name is Impressed.
I freaking took French too, and I was like, can't figure that out. So after college, she finds her first job and she goes into teaching, which is like a theme because I think that jobs, even with those credentials, are not really available. It's like, cool, teacher, there you go.
Yep.
With her brain, drives me nuts. But in 1952 at a family gathering, a relative mentions that the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, so it's NASA then, but it's NACA. I think it's funny. NACA. But they were hiring mathematicians. So at this point, they needed computers, is what they called them,
right,
to compute numbers.
Yeah.
And computers.
Wow.
I know.
Okay. All right. I'm with you.
I had that moment too, and I was like, why did it take me so long for me to figure out like that's what computer is?
I think I've talked about this before, but that's how I feel about like school buses and cheerleaders, like or like a bus stop.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's called a bus stop, but that's because that's where the bus stops. And also like cheerleaders are called cheerleaders because they lead cheers.
Yes.
So it makes sense that computers
compute.
Earth. Yes.
So at the Langley Memorial Aeronautical Laboratory, which was in Hampton, Virginia, near Langley Field, the NASA hired African-American mathematicians as well as white mathematicians for their guidance and navigation department. So Johnson accepts a job offer from the agency in 1953, and according to oral history archived by the National Visionary Leadership Project, quote, at first, she worked in a pool of women performing math calculations. Katherine has referred to the women in the pool as virtual computers who wore skirts. Their main job was to read the data from the black boxes of planes and carry out other precise mathematical tasks. Then one day, Katherine and a colleague were temporarily assigned to help the all-male flight research team. Katherine's knowledge of analytical geometry helped make quick allies of male bosses and colleagues to the extent that they forgot to return me to the pool. While the racial and gender barriers were always there, Katherine says she ignored them. Katherine was assertive, asking to be included in editorial meetings where no women had gone before.
Fuck yeah.
She simply told people she had done the work and she belonged there.
Hell yeah.
I know.
Hell yeah. I got chills.
I know.
Go off, Katherine. You do deserve it.
I know. Isn't that fucking great? I was like, yes. And you got to watch this movie because it's so good. But there's
I didn't want to watch it before you told me about it because I wanted to like be surprised.
Yeah. How many dogs can we fit on this guy?
I don't
That's
know.
not
Mosby,
what we're doing
lay down.
right now. Thank you. From 1953 to 1958, she works as a computer analyzing topics such as gust alleviation for aircrafts.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. She was all of these things, by the way, in the movie. I'm like, I'm watching and I'm like, oh, I guess you would need math for that. Oh, I guess that makes sense. But like, I never fucking realized how much you need math.
Yeah. Never been more stupid.
No. I was watching and I was like, sure, numbers. Yeah, okay. She was originally assigned to the West Area Computer section, and it was supervised by mathematician Dorthy Vaughan, who we'll talk about. Johnson was reassigned to the Guidance and Control Division then of Langley's Flight Research Division. It was staffed by white male engineers. In keeping with state racial segregation laws and federal workplace segregation introduced under President Woodrow Wilson in the early 20th century, fuck you. Johnson and the other black women in the computing pool were required to work, eat, and use restrooms that were separate from those of their white peers. Their office was labeled as colored computers.
Oh my God.
I know.
The amount of like rage I'm feeling in my body right now, I can't even explain.
Keep this in mind. 1958, like my mom was born very shortly after that. So
Same.
Like this is not that
Our parents
far.
were born in the 60s.
Yeah, this is not that far away. Like
So
these people are
think
still
about-
alive.
Yes.
Yes. Like that is so
Ruby
frustrating.
Bridges, who we mentioned earlier, is barely retirement age.
Yeah. Well, these
she
people
was-
are not alive, but
Well, no, but I'm saying
people
like,
that were around during this time who saw segregation are still living to this day. And then you want to tell me like racism isn't an issue anymore. No, we fixed it. Fucking really?
Yeah.
Really?
Not to mention like the people who were either in school when they were being integrated, or like working when they were being integrated. Definitely like elementary school are still alive. Like I said, Ruby Bridges is like barely retirement age. You also have to think like, who were those people raised by?
Yes.
And if you have to admit, like, whatever ideologies your family had a huge impact on you.
Yes.
Like, if you do have a different ideology than your family, it was probably because you worked really fucking hard to have a different ideology. Yeah. So I think it's not a far-fetched thing to realize that, like,
that was one generation away, basically.
Yes. And that it could still very much exist, because it does.
Yeah, because it obviously does.
Right.
Just not in such in-your-face ways. Well, yeah. But back then, they didn't think they were either. They were like, well, you guys are free. That's what they say multiple times. Like, I'm a free person. Like,
you just
blah, blah,
can't
blah.
pee where I pee.
Yeah, you have to sit in the back of the bus. Or you have to... There's one point in the movie, I'm going to spoil this for you guys, so sorry if you want to watch it. But, like... She goes to use the coffee, just like normal coffee pot, and she's going back to work, and all the guys are staring at her, and the next day they have a separate coffee pot, and it said colored on it, and she's not allowed to touch their coffee. They wouldn't drink out of that.
Fucking imagine it. I don't care what color you are.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously, if you're like a POC, please don't do this if it's going to be triggering for you, obviously. Yeah. But like white people, imagine... You go to use a coffee pot, and the next day it says, not for you.
Yeah.
How the fuck does that feel? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like we said, those people raised people who are alive today. Mm-hmm. Implicit bias is a thing.
Yep.
So that still exists. They may not have a full-on coffee pot that says not for you, but like, guess what? You don't get it. You don't get to work here.
Yeah.
Or you don't get to play on this team, or you don't get access to this. You don't get access to this.
Yeah.
And
fair treatment when you get pulled over.
Yes.
You know?
Fair treatment when you get sentenced.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's all, you know, police officers or all judges or whatever, but there are still people in the judicial system that, and in the, what are the other fucking... executive branches,
legislative,
sure, yeah, and definitely making laws and shit, yeah, that are still putting those in place. So like, to act like that's not still happening, that we just cured it, like it's fine, is not realistic. And I'm not trying to be harsh with anybody, but I want to be
about it.
It's got, you have to be realistic.
People
about
in
this.
Congress are old as fuck.
Yeah,
like, that's just a fact.
Mitch McConnell was for sure alive during this. Nancy Pelosi was for sure alive during this.
He is a Galapagos turtle. He is 400 years old, but. No, truly, like, no jokes. Like, jokes aside,
Joe Biden as well. I mean, literally, that's why
they're old.
They're so old,
and they're so old. And so, like, even if they weren't adults during the civil rights movement, if they were a student at a school, where the teachers refused to teach black kids, what do you think that told the student? That they're not equal to me. They're not worthy of the same education as me. Like, those are the seeds that are planted. We talk about weeding your mind garden. Like, people have the weed of racism, like, in their head.
Yeah, that you have to get that. You have to work hard to get that out.
Right. How many times do you look at a garden and you're like, is that a weed or is it a flower? Was that supposed to be there or is it not supposed to be there? Like, they may not even know. Like, you may not even know.
Truly. And I don't think some people, like, in this movie... It's hard to say they're not doing it maliciously, because you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Those are human beings, but whatever. But I don't truly think that everybody thought that they were doing it maliciously. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. They didn't think so.
No. So then you're not going to. So then when these stories are told, it's going to feel better for you if you tell it in a way that's like, no, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. No, it wasn't that bad, because it makes you look like a shitty person.
Or we didn't know any better.
Yeah. It was the times. That was the times. I don't really care what the Times said. People are people. And like, if you're treating someone as less than you would want to be treated.
Well, like,
why?
We look at Encanto and we say, like, generational trauma is a thing. Generational trauma is a thing for people of color. Yeah. Like, if you can look at a freaking Disney movie and be like, oh, Abuela should have done something differently. Yeah. She should have been the one to stop the generational trauma. She should have done better. She should have made these changes so that what happened to her didn't affect the people in front of her.
Yeah.
keep that same energy with this. It's the exact same thing. Just because someone was telling you, no, it's okay for us to like fuck these people of color over and not let them use the same bathroom. Like, if it doesn't feel right to you, if you're like, that sounds fucking icky. Like, why are we doing that? You could have made a different choice and you didn't. And by you, I'm probably not actually meaning you. It's like an ambiguous, it's like one.
Yeah.
Replace you with one. Oh my God, I would have failed a fucking grammar thing for sure. My English teacher would have marked all of those U's and been like, right, one.
Yeah. Who is this you that you're talking to?
Fucking, I don't know.
Racist people.
Yeah.
You be the judge.
If you think I'm talking about you, yeah, that's what my dad always said.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to rant this whole thing. So if you don't like it now, apologies. But also, you got to understand that, like, it's hard for me I knew things were this way-ish, but, like, not really. Mm-hmm. So, like, learning, seeing, like, it pisses me off because I'm like, fucking what the fuck?
We were lied to?
Yeah. And also, what's wrong with you guys? Yeah. Why were you just like cool with this happening?
Right. And also, I would like to say, if you're feeling defensive by how impassioned we are,
why?
That's a question to ask yourself.
Yep. Why are you feeling defensive?
Yeah.
Because we're not talking to you. We're talking about being mad.
We're talking about one.
At racism. So
if you don't identify with that,
don't get defensive.
Because here's the thing, like, we have said 1,000 times.
Right now, I'm not saying all white people are bad. I'm just saying in that time period, we could have done fucking better. Jesus Christ. And I don't think that's a far-fetched thing to say.
No, and we've said before that, like, your first thought is not your fault.
Yeah.
Because you were conditioned to believe something.
Yes.
But once you have access to more information and you can develop a more well-rounded thought, your second thought is your responsibility. Yep. And that's something that, like, we realized even last week, because you guys saw a different version of the guys than anyone has ever seen. And it's one thing for us to come on this couch and be really vulnerable and open ourselves up to you guys, because we really are in control of when we talk about certain things,
what we put out there.
Yeah. And our partners don't. And so for them to come on and open themselves up, like, that's asking a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And it's not really fair to expect anyone to be at the level that we are, because this isn't something that they do every day.
Right.
And this is just me going off. Okay. This is just me.
I'm glad you're doing it, because I was going to too.
Well, I think it's just, I want to relate it to something that you could understand, because I think when you go on the race talk, it's like, oh, I'm defensive immediately. But like, you're a person.
Yeah.
You have implicit bias. You do. We have implicit bias. It's your responsibility to challenge that and try to realign how your brain works. Mm-hmm. And with our partners, it was like so very obvious to see, like, a first reaction, like a gut reaction is like, protect myself, make a joke. And then, like with Corey, I could specifically see him trying to
break down that wall,
be more vulnerable. We're like, Shane's more used to that. Like Shane does that more often. Like, that's always been Shane and I's dynamic. That's not
Corey. Was not
you.
Yeah, that's not me. First of all, obviously, you don't see me crying on this couch every fucking week. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, it's not him either. But I've never been called a name for it. So like, it's just weird to me that.
Well, I think a lot of people were reacted really positively.
Oh, we got a lot of positive.
I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was a good example of, like, my initial response is to do this, but then when I step back and realize that, like, that's my body protecting myself.
By the way, this was in reference to like one crappy comment we got, but the rest of them were so sweet. But I want people to know if they're like, where the fuck is this coming from?
Well, but yeah, I think it was cool too, because people were like, I can relate to one of you.
Yeah,
and
a lot of people related to Corey, because I think a lot of people like related to that, being more reserved, being more like
protective of themselves.
Yeah. It's hard to be vulnerable.
Yes. Yeah.
When people see what we do, I think that automatically they don't see us as like real people. It's almost like because they watch us over a screen, it's like entertainers and they're not real, but like we're real people. Our partners are real people. We have real feelings. We read what you say about us. Like, you know, you can't expect us to be perfect all the time. I hate this like mentality that we are expecting people to constantly be at their best all the time. It's not realistic. People are going to mess up. I think taking accountability is important.
Oh yeah,
very important. But I think like this, oh, you did one bad thing in 2008, fuck you, you suck forever, is like so harmful.
I think it's more so like the idea that there's a different standard for people. And I know it's important that, like, I know we're really derailing here.
Oh, we did so hard, but
I know it's
this
important.
Conversation's important to have.
Because we have a platform.
Yes.
So, like, anyone who has a platform, it is important because there's, like, an elevated responsibility because the amount of people that you can reach. Like, think about it. You as an individual who maybe doesn't have as large of a platform, if you do or say something, the circle of people that you are impacting with that is significantly smaller than us.
Yeah.
So it's important. However, if whatever is being said is not something that is constructive, then it's just
mean. Then you're just being mean. Like, we appreciate the people who correct us when we make a mistake. And
we've said that so much.
And people who are like, hey, this wasn't the best way to word this. This is actually why, blah, blah, blah. Again, you don't have to teach us. That's not your responsibility. But it is nice to like say like, hey, this is why this was wrong. If you were just like, fuck you, you're wrong kind of thing, it's like, well, what does that do but make people feel defensive?
Well, and like we've had people, I feel so bad that we're derailing this conversation because I really do want to get back to the story. But I know that people have reached out to us about the way that we spoke about diabetes. And I know that people have reached out and corrected us on how we've spoken about people with autism. And like we were either taught or knew people who explained those things and various other things. There's a lot of stuff that we've been corrected on incorrectly or correctly for that person. And like the scope of it is so much bigger. So essentially we've had people open our eyes to things that weren't originally taught to us, and it gives us an opportunity to then share that information, and we're grateful for that. But saying something without any depth to it, just like saying a flippant comment that has no meat to it, is just
bullying.
You're
just being a
harmful.
dick.
So
I want to say right now, that's not what we're doing to white people, although these white people might have deserved it. I want to specify that we're doing this so that people get better. Because I believe that everybody has the ability to grow. And I think that all you have to do is put the work in. And I don't want to cut anybody off and be like, nah, fuck you. You're not worthy of being a better person.
If you weren't always perfect, then
you have no hope.
Yes.
I really deep down, and maybe that's naive of me, but I truly deeply believe that everybody has the ability to grow and want to change and be the best version of themselves. And I want to give you an opportunity to do that. But this does fire me up because these were real people and horrible, like unfair things happen to them. So,
and you can't change it now.
No.
This is just how the story goes.
If you're being defensive, take that wall down a little bit.
Yeah.
Learn something.
Yeah.
And do better.
Yeah.
Because we are. And we've gotten this shit from multiple people. And all we do is say, thank you so much. We'll do better. We'll do better next time.
Yeah.
Okay. So from 1958 until her retirement, she worked at as an aerospace technologist. She calculated the trajectory for the May 5th, 1961 space flight of Alan Shepard, the first American in space. She also calculated the launch window for his 1961 Mercury mission. She plotted backup navigation charts for astronauts in case of electronic failures.
On like paper?
With a paper and a pencil in her mind, and that is it. Yes, I know. When NASA used electronic computers for the first time to calculate John Glenn's orbit around Earth, officials called on Johnson to verify. So then computers come into it.
Computers did it, and they were
wrong.
like, Will you check the computer's
She
work?
had to verify the numbers. John Glenn specifically asked for her and refused to fly unless Johnson herself verified the calculations.
How the fuck did we hear about John Glenn and not about
Thank
Johnson?
you. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm
If
saying.
he wouldn't have taken that flight without her verification, why was she not highlighted?
Yeah, exactly.
Because she is as important as him.
Yes.
If not more.
She literally made it so that he came back safely.
Yes.
So
Mother truck.
biography.com states that these were far more difficult calculations to account for the gravitational pulls of celestial bodies. Arthur Margaret Lee Shetterly stated, so the astronaut who became a hero looked to this black woman in the still segregated South at the time as one of the key parts of making his mission a success. She added that in a time where computing was, quote, woman's work and engineering was left to the men, it really does have to do with us over the course of time sort of not valuing that work that was done by women, however necessary, as much as we might. And it has taken history to get a perspective on that.
Damn.
Right? So she also helped calculate the trajectory for the 1969 Apollo 11 flight to the moon. During the moon landing, Johnson was at a meeting in the Pocono Mountains. She and a few others crowded around a small television screen watching the first steps on the moon. I know.
That would have been cool if the moon landing wasn't faked.
Shut
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm like, don't you dare.
Yeah. This whole fucking story is like fabricated because the moon landing wasn't real.
So on November 24th in 2015, President Barack Obama presented her. So we didn't hear about her like at all up until this moment in November 24th, 2015. President Barack Obama. Why do I want to say president so bad? Barack Obama.
Barack.
Yep.
President Barack Obama
Presented her with the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
So she's still alive.
At this point, yes.
At that point.
Yes. She was one of 17 Americans so honored on that day.
Oh.
She was cited as a pioneering example of African American women in STEM. I don't know what that is. Do you?
Science, technology, something in math.
Math.
What's the E stand for? Evolution. I don't know. Science, technology, something in math, I think.
Okay. President Obama said at the time, Katherine Johnson refused to be limited by society's expectations of her gender and race while expanding the boundaries of humanity's reach. NASA noted her historical role as one of the first African American women to work as a NASA scientist. 2 NASA facilities have been named in her honor.
Hell yeah.
In 2016, she was included on the BBC's list of 100 women of influence worldwide.
Hell yeah.
Again, this all was like after 2015 though. So
Right.
like where was the recognition before
Right.
that? But it's fine. At least she got it. I wish it would have happened sooner.
Mm-hmm.
On May 12th, 2018, she was awarded an honorary doctorate by the College of William and Mary. I don't know what that is, but in August 2018, West Virginia State University established a STEM scholarship in honor of Johnson and erected a life-size statue of her on the campus.
Oh, I love that.
Mattel announced a Barbie doll in Johnson's likeness with the NASA identity badge in 2018. I know that part made me cry
good
earlier
on
for some
you,
reason.
Mattel.
I don't know why. On November 6, 2020, a satellite named after her was launched into space.
Oh.
I know.
I don't know why my brain just went, and someday she'll crash into the ocean.
Potentially.
Because I think that's what they do. They just
I think they do.
When they're done with satellites in space,
into
they're like, into the Pacific you go.
Yeah. Johnson died at a retirement home in Newport News. Maybe just Newport?
It's got to be a place other than Newport, New Jersey?
Newport News. I don't know. I think
Oh.
when I type this up, the thing that I love about this iPad and also hate is it's like, you probably don't mean this. You mean this. If it's like an abbreviation, and then I don't double check what I'm doing because I'm used to writing on a computer where it just lets me fuck up and then I can go back. So then I'm reading this and I'm like, what the fuck did I type?
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Fair enough.
in a retirement home on February 24th, 2020 at age 101.
Wow.
Yep. Following her, that was just in 2020. That's actually insane. Following her death, Jim Bridenstine, NASA's administrator, described her as an American hero and stated that her pioneering legacy will never be forgotten. I had to make her short, so I didn't tell her full story because we have another 2 to talk about. The next woman we're going to talk about is Mary Jackson.
Heck yeah.
I loved her character in the movie, by the way. You'll love her too. So Mary Jackson, she was real sassy, kind of feisty. Mary Jackson was born Mary Winston on April 9th, 1921, and she grew up in Hampton, Virginia, where she graduated from the all-black George P. Phoenix Training School with the highest honors. In 1942, she earned a bachelor's degree in mathematics and physical science from Hampton University. After graduation, Mary Jackson taught mathematics for a year at an African-American school in Calvert County, Maryland. At that time, public schools were still segregated across the South, and she also began tutoring high school and college students, which she continued to do then throughout her life. By 1943, she'd returned to Hampton, where she became a bookkeeper at the National Catholic Community Center. She worked as a receptionist and clerk. It's just crazy to me that these women had the brains that they did, and then they were like, before they got to NASA, they were like, you can be a teacher or a clerk or a receptionist.
Yep.
You know? And it's just like
that there was like a cap on
what they could do with those minds.
Yep.
She worked as a receptionist and clerk at the Hampton Institute's health department. She was pregnant during this time and eventually returned home for the birth of her son. I also read like back in this time, it was really customary for women once they became pregnant. It was like, okay, you're done with the work part, like whatever. And it was only because of, I think it was World War II, that they were able then to go back to work because all men went away to war and stuff. So they were like, well, actually,
we need someone to do this shit.
We do need you, turns out. So in 1951, she was recruited by NASA, which in 1958 was succeeded by, this is just saying how it changed from the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
I was going to say, did they pronounce it NASA the first way as well?
Or NACA?
Well,
I don't like that.
Sometimes the C is pronounced as an S, though.
Yeah, that's why, especially when it's an A afterward, I feel.
Or I thought it was like an I or an E.
Maybe.
A vowel?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
NASA
you
or pronounce
NASA?
Cake. Like a...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But like,
cake really threw a wrench in my eye.
Me too. Yeah. I was like, what's the first thing I could think of? And then I was like, that didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So in 1953, so she works as this computer. Sorry, I skipped a part. She works as a research mathematician or a computer under Dorthy Vaughan in the segregated West Area computing section with Katherine Johnson. They all work together. But then in 1953, she accepts an offer to work for engineer. I just looked up how to say his name. Kazimierz Czarnecki?
Sure.
He's Polish, so it's a lot of Z's that I know aren't like C's and Z's. And I'm like, those C's you don't pronounce. And they worked in the supersonic pressure tunnel. The 4x4 foot, 60,000 horsepower wind tunnel. That was really hard because there was like kilometers and shit in there. Was used to study forces on a model by generating winds at almost twice the speed of sound. So they had to like do this to make sure that the rockets could like withstand. Fuck you.
Sorry. Yes, no, I'm with you.
Czarnecki encouraged Jackson to undergo training so that she could be promoted to an engineer. At that point, there were no women engineers. But she couldn't go because she had to take graduate level courses in mathematics and physics to qualify for the job. And the only place that offered a night program so that she could work and also take those classes were at the University of Virginia, we're at an all-white Hampton high school where no black.
Can I tell you, I have never, ever felt more similar to my ex-boyfriend than when I just heard that and wanted to punch drywall.
Why? Oh, that or what my throat did?
No, okay. No. That statement that like
I know
she
could have done
a brilliant mind, and the barrier that was there was just like, your skin is dark.
Yeah,
you can't come here.
How ridiculous, right? They were like, you could be the first female engineer, but sorry, you can't go to these classes. But wait. She petitioned the city of Hampton to allow her to attend classes. So she goes before a judge and like states her case as to why this should be an exception to the rule.
Good for
And
her,
she
but I'm
gets-
fucking pissed that she had to do
That she even had to do it.
Yeah.
I know, but she gets granted, so she's allowed to do it. So after completing the courses, she's promoted to aerospace engineer in 1958 and becomes NASA's first black female engineer.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
Even with all those roadblocks, that's what we're saying.
Yep.
Like the roadblocks they have to over. It's not just a straight line. It's like freaking all over the goddamn road.
Yep. And I cannot be bothered to jump through
No.
fucking hoops.
No, you tell me no. The first no I hear, I'm like, all right.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, these women jumped through these fucking hoops to allow the country
To
that we
say
live in.
thank you to white men.
Yes.
That is infuriating.
To help
And
people
I
go
know
to
that they
space.
didn't do it for
The
the
white
like
men.
recognition and things
Right,
like that, but
right.
it is still so infuriating that it's like they did all of that. They jumped through all those hoops for us to go, good job, Neil Armstrong. Or,
Yes.
Good job, John Glenn. Like,
Yeah.
and not even think about their names when we're talking about space.
Right.
Sorry. She analyzed data from wind tunnel experiments and real-world aircraft flight experiments at the Theoretical Aerodynamics branch of the Subsonic Transonic Aerodynamics Division at Langley. That honestly
No
makes my
fucking
brain
way.
hurt just saying that.
Yep. My brain was like, I want to go on vacation right now.
Goodbye. Her goal was to understand airflow, including thrust and drag forces, in order to improve United States planes. Don't go there when I say thrust.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't do it.
My body was like, Remember when we talked about squirting? Sorry.
Don't you leave that in.
Oh, it's in.
Oh, son of a bitch.
You in? Anyway.
You can't.
You can't. He's going to sacrifice himself.
No.
You can't. Do you want to stop stable or not? Sorry.
I could listen to you do that all day. By 1979, Jackson had achieved the most senior title within the engineering department. So she's like freaking highest
Damn, hell
bitch.
yeah.
HBIC up in here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do you
They
know what
like
that
can't
means?
help but continue to give her fucking promotions.
like-
They're like, God damn.
Fucking
Go ahead.
yeah. But she decides to take a demotion in order to serve as an administrator in the equal opportunity specialist field.
God damn.
I know. After undergoing training at NASA headquarters, then she returns to Langley. She worked to make changes and highlight women and other minorities who were accomplished in the field. She served as both the Federal Women's Program Manager in the Office of Equal Opportunity Programs and as the Affirmative Action Program Manager, and she worked to influence the career paths of women in science, engineering, and mathematics positions at NASA.
Black women be carrying the world on their
Yes.
fucking back.
And getting zero fucking recognition
Yep.
for it.
Mm-hmm.
God damn. She continued to work at NASA until her retirement in 1958, and then she passed away on February 11th, 2005, at the age of 83. I know. In 2018.
I like obviously it's sad when anyone dies, but I'm like,
Oh,
life ends.
she has to die?
Yeah,
I know.
I
Even
know.
though they were born in like 1918.
I know.
It's like,
Amazing
obviously,
people
it's
though. I'm
probably-
like, oh, we need more of you.
Truly. In 2018, the Salt Lake City School Board voted that Jackson Elementary School in Salt Lake City, Utah would be from then on officially named after Mary Jackson rather than as it used to be after President Andrew Jackson. Hell yeah.
You did. Oh my
Nas-
god, that fucking hurt. I think I broke
Oh,
my finger
no.
yesterday, so when I bent it, that was a
Oh
bad
my
time.
god, ouchie. Ouchie.
Oh, mommy hurts.
NASA's headquarters building in Washington, D.C. was renamed the Mary W. Jackson NASA headquarters in a virtual ceremony on February 26, 2021. Again, are you seeing
Wow.
how fucking long it took for these women to get some fucking recognition?
Yes.
And if we had a podcast back then, I would have done it. So finally, last one. We have Dorothy Vaughan. Dorothy Vaughan was born September 21st, 1910 in Kansas. 1910. Damn.
Yeah.
That is like, when I think
I'm
of that,
sorry.
that was
Did you
over
just say that Dorothy was born in Kansas?
in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, okay.
You did let me finish.
You didn't let you finish.
I know. I got distracted because 1910, I feel like it's like 112 years ago. Right? When you say it like that.
Yeah, that is.
I know.
That is something.
I know.
Oh my God. I think my grandpa was born like shortly after that. I had a dream last night and I
God.
heard his voice and I started crying and I ran up the steps and it wasn't him. And I was like,
The hell?
who are you?
Why you
Thought
got
we bought this house.
Why you got my grandpa's
And
voice?
he was like, yeah, I'm not the only one who lives here. There's also a couple in there and they live in the other room and they will try to kill you. And I was like, bet. Anyway.
I feel like
It
you
was
need to unpack that.
I know. Well, I am on a lot of medication.
Oh, okay.
So,
oh yeah, Zoloft?
well, that and I'm also on gamma peptide. I'm on something else, starts with a G, that helps my restless leg.
Because I'll tell you, Zoloft made my dreams fucking bananas.
I didn't have banana dreams until I started taking this gamma.
Got it.
This Yo Gabba Gabba pill.
All right.
But I did lucid dream the other night because I realized I was dreaming and I said, stop. And then everything paused and I started flying.
I love flying. That's like the first thing I do. And do you fly like Superman?
No,
or do you
I
fly
swim.
like a fish? Me too.
I swim.
I just swim into the air.
Yep.
I'm
I have to go real fast.
Me too.
And then I coast.
Because if I stop, then I fall down. So I just gotta.
I gotta keep swimming.
Why is that? If you fly in your dreams, do you swim? How do you? Yeah. Do you swim fly?
Do you swim fly or you Superman fly?
Yeah.
What's your flight plan?
What's your fly look like?
Anyway.
Okay. I'm sorry. So she was born in Kansas City, Missouri as Dorothy Jean Johnson. Oh, another Johnson, but she was Johnson after and she was Johnson before. At the age of 7, her family moved to Morgantown, West Virginia, where she graduated from Beechhurst High School in 1925 as her class valedictorian. Hell yeah. Vaughan received a full... I hope I'm saying her name right. I think I am. It's Vaughan.
Yeah, Vaughan.
But McMahon really threw me, and so I'm
McMahon.
I'm
No,
really
I think it's
scared.
Vaughan.
Okay, I'm just scared to mess up. Vaughan received a full tuition because I don't think they say it in the movie. They just called her Dorothy.
If it's not correct and you know how to say it, just tell us and then we'll like mention it in the next one.
Yeah.
We're doing our best.
Yeah. I'm so scared to get yelled at.
I know.
Vaughan received a full tuition scholarship from West Virginia Conference of the AME Sunday School Convention to attend Wilberforce University in Wilberforce, Ohio. Didn't know that was a fucking place, but here we are. She joined the Alpha Kappa Alpha chapter at Wilberforce and graduated in 1929 with a BA in mathematics. So, although she's encouraged by professors to do graduate study at Howard University, she works as a mathematics teacher instead at Robert Russa Moton High School in Farmville, Virginia, in order to assist her family during the Great Depression. During the 14 years of her teaching career, Virginia's public schools and other facilities were still racially segregated under Jim Crow laws. In 1943, she began a 28-year career as a mathematician and programmer at Langley Research Center. So they call her and they're like, we need your friggin' brain. And she's like, you got it. In which she specialized in calculations for flight paths, the Scout Project, and computer programming.
We need your brain, but you can't use our toilet.
Yeah.
Seems like a fair fucking trade.
Don't sit in the same place as me and eat a sandwich, but I need you to get this rocket into space.
I need you, but also not near me.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Oh my God, disgusting. Her career in this field kicked off during the height of World War II. She came to the Langley Memorial Aeronautical Laboratory thinking that it would be a temporary war job.
I'm sorry. I cannot fucking move past this. If you are a person listening to this right now, imagine that you're with your partner and they're like, I need you because your job pays for our home.
But please don't come near me or use the same places in the house
Don't
as me.
sleep in the same bed as me.
Use the downstairs toilet, please. Even though it's inconvenience for you in the middle of the night. Go down there.
Definitely don't put your food in the same fridge as mine.
No.
Like,
I'm not going to provide you with one, but you need to figure it out because I don't want it near mine.
Yeah, honestly, like if you walk a mile, there's probably a fridge that someone will let you put your sandwich in. But like, I'm definitely not going to eat anything that your food has been near.
Like, I honestly, I know it was like the times, but I cannot wrap my head around how Well,
However
there were
the
people
times.
who were like, "Hey, this is fucked up." But
Yes.
how was it? Were there not more?
Right.
How the fuck were there not more people?
Because if you think about it, when our government is voted for by the people,
Mm-hmm.
and they're the ones who make the laws,
Yep.
there was obviously more people voting for people who were making
Yep.
laws against that were
Keeping these
preventing people from
Yeah,
having
moving
equal
forward.
access to things.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry.
Right.
I couldn't
No,
get
it's
that
so
out of my.
upsetting.
It was like screaming at me.
Yeah. It really is truly just almost impossible to think about, but it's like because it's so fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm.
In 1941, President Franklin D. Roosevelt issued Executive Order 8802 to desegregate the defense industry and Executive Order 9346 to end racial segregation and discrimination in hiring and promotion among federal agencies and defense contractors. These helped ensure the war effort drew from all of Americans. By the way, I just want to say, I used to like Franklin Roosevelt, and sure, he did some things, but he only fucking signed these because, again, so many people were at war that he's like, fuck. Well, you know what? Capitalism, baby. That's a capitalist society for you. He wasn't doing it to be a good guy. He wasn't doing it because he was like, oh, you know what? What we're doing is wrong. He's like, we need more people in the workforce. So I have to sign these so that you can work and support your family.
Motherfucker.
I know. And I think that's important to say too, because again, when we, it's almost like applauded when we hear about these laws,
Yes.
and it's like, no, let's talk about why they did it.
Yep.
Because it wasn't for good reasons.
Yeah.
So
You should just be happy that he did
it at all?
No.
No, I'm not. That again would be like if your partner was like, hey, you can start sleeping in the bed with me because we need to have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm letting you sleep in the bed finally.
Yeah.
Why are you mad at me?
Yep.
Because you only want me for my uterus. And that's a double entendre for you motherfucker. I'm just kidding. I don't even know what that means, but it
Chew
sounded
on
good.
that. Sierra speaks French.
Yeah.
Is entendre French?
I hope it sounds like
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the enactment of the 2 executive orders and with many men being swept into service, federal agencies such as NASA also expanded their hiring and increased recruiting women, including women of color, to support the war production of airplanes. 2 years following the issuance of the executive orders, the Langley Memorial Aeronautical Laboratory, I wish that we could really shorten that, but it's like Lamela.
I think that's what I put on my nipples to make sure they didn't get.
That's lanolin.
No, very close.
Lamela is what you ride with the 2 humps. That's a llama.
That's a camel.
Oh.
You fucking idiot.
Let's do a camel and llama together. A llama. They began hiring more. Oh, okay. So we already said that. The U.S. believed that the war was going to be won in the air, so they were like, we fucking got to get some planes in this bitch, is how I imagine they said it.
Yep.
It had already ramped up airplane production, creating a great demand for engineers, mathematicians, craftsmen, and skilled tradesmen. So she begins working for NASA, and she's assigned to the West Area Computing, a segregated unit. Son of a bitch. It just makes me so mad to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 1949, Vaughan was assigned as the acting head of the West Area Computers, taking over from a white woman when she died. But they still didn't make her a supervisor, but she was given all of the work of a supervisor, but they would not give her the title or the pay. Yeah. She led a group composed entirely of African-American women mathematicians. She served for years in an acting role before finally being promoted officially to the position of supervisor. Vaughan worked for opportunities for the women in West Computing as well as women in other departments. Seeing that machine computers were going to be in the future, she taught the women programming languages and other concepts. So she was really fucking good at machines. Like, she's very good. And so eventually, like, these IBM machines, the actual computers come in, and they're like, okay, well, you still have a job though. We need someone to run these computers. And she's like, I'm gonna fucking teach you how to do it.
Yeah. So she made sure other people didn't become obsolete.
Yes. She was like, don't worry, I will keep your job here. I'm going to make sure you know how to run these so that you can still stay and be of use. She moved into the area of electronic computing in 1961 after NASA introduced the first digital non-human computers to the center. She became proficient in computer programming, teaching herself Fortran, which I don't know what that means, then teaches it to her coworkers. She contributes to the space program through her work on the Scout Launch Vehicle program when NACA became NASA. Segregated facilities, including the West Computing Office, were abolished. In a 1994 interview, Vaughan recalled that working at Langley during the space race felt like being on, quote, the cutting edge of something very exciting. Regarding being an African-American woman during that time in Langley, she remarked, quote, I changed what I could, and what I couldn't, I just endured. I know.
God damn.
I know. She retired from NASA in 1971 at the age of 61. In her final years, Vaughan worked with mathematicians Katherine Johnson and Mary Jackson on astronaut John Glenn's launch into orbit. She died on November 10th, 2008 at 98 years old.
Wow.
In 2019, she was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. Also in 2019, the Vaughan crater on the far side of the moon was named in her honor.
Oh. You know what makes me sad is that like all of these people lived during our lifetime.
Yes.
And I never knew about them.
I know. Until literally like 2016.
Not that like me knowing about them would have made them any more
And what's
spectacular,
sad-
but I wish I could have celebrated them and like
Is when
when they were here.
when they're finally getting their recognition is when they're either like gone. She died in 2008, I believe they said.
Yep.
So she was already gone when she starts getting this recognition, or it's
Yeah.
when they're so old, like,
Yeah.
you know, you can't really fully enjoy it, I guess. But
If I'm like on my deathbed and someone's like, I've just named the far side of the moon after you, I'd be like, fucking cool.
yeah, like
I guess
awesome.
I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah. Because I'm 98 years old.
Yeah.
On November 6, 2020, a satellite named after her was launched into space.
Oh.
And that is the story of the hidden figures, the women behind NASA's space launch orbit around the
exploration.
Yeah, just fucking NASA in general.
Yeah.
And there's so many more. That's the thing. There's a lot of people working to go back, but like the records are so like it's hard for people to even find these names
Yeah.
to like go and give these women their credit.
Yeah.
But
And I'm sure
if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have done anything like spatially. I almost said we wouldn't have done anything in space that we did.
Intergalactic.
Yeah.
That's probably not
We
right.
would be sitting with aliens on the Scout right now. That's for sure.
We would have lost to Russia, that's for sure. They'd
Yeah.
have gotten the gold
Sputnik or something.
in moon spacing.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
whatever. Can I tell you I
Orbiting.
haven't had dinner and I've had a lot of wine. I'm so sorry. I nakedly straddled a guitar earlier. I just need you to know how much wine I've had.
This is my first one.
Is that true? Yes,
Yep.
it is. It definitely is. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that it inspired you to like learn about other hidden figures.
Please, because
I'm
I'm
sure
going
there's
to.
so many.
Yeah.
And someone messaged us because I posted on our Patreon. I mentioned like, hey, I know you guys are choosing. We're allowing one of the perks of being a patron is helping us choose one episode a month.
Hi, ladies. My name is Vicky, and my pronouns are she, her. I love listening to your podcast each week. So this story happened a few years ago when I worked at a restaurant. I wasn't working on this particular day, but I heard about it from my friend who was a supervisor there, so I know it's reliable information. So it started off as a normal day, and the restaurant got a delivery of the usual cleaning products: toilet paper, paper towels, etc.
They just throw bleach balloons at the building.
And you wouldn't believe it, bleach balloons again.
They started a delivery service.
Oh my God. We keep the majority of these items in the employee bathroom on a rack. Well, someone went to get some cleaning products from a canister, and when he opened it up, he didn't find soap. He found meth.
Again?
Yes.
Return of the meth.
That's again. That's again. That's my thing. Not my thing. Just the stories. No, I feel like I should clarify.
Also, that was not a real song. That was a parody of Return of the Mac.
Yeah, so don't come after us for your copyright bullshit. Or what are we apologizing for?
I don't know. I just wanted people to know that, like, we're not on meth. Moral of the story is don't do meth.
Don't do it.
We don't.
I don't.
Stop asking us.
Dabble. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I swear to God, I never have.
God.
What if that's how I told you?
No.
Can you believe it?
It was Pond Rocks.
I smoked Pond Rocks. And it was wild. Yep.
And the episode that got chosen was on cults. That will be next week.
Yep.
And it's going to fall in March, and so it didn't land in February. And I was like, so sorry, it didn't land in February.
But here's why.
But this is important to us. And someone suggested speaking about Hispanic stories during Hispanic Heritage Month. Is that what they said? Is between September 15th and October 15th. So if you have any stories or you have any
thing that we should maybe look into, because I'd love to do more like this.
Please share that with us. Like we definitely will we will like educate ourselves, do our own research and stuff.
You just have to say the name.
Yeah, if there's anything that you're like, hey, this is a really interesting story that I don't think it's enough recognition, like please let us know so that we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out. We love you so much.
We do.
We will see you next week.
All right.
We're out.
Goodbye.